As fascinating as that is, this is not the time, nor the place, nor any reason you should be talking about that.
Welcome to biology with Rydell.
Indeed. So let us. I was going to put this in the middle of the screen because why not? Why not? I'm an egotist.
That's all for today with biology with Rydell. On to things that aren't biology with not Rydell.
Indeed.
Yay!
Gentlemen, do you know what time it is?
It's time to
It's
get
howdy
laid.
doody time!
It's time to duel.
It's time to get laid.
It's time for Let's Roleplay.
Close enough.
Shut up, all of you. Yes, that's right. We're back to Let's Roleplay. Though this.
Let's roleplay.
Yes, indeed. And later today.
Sorry, I have to do that because Sound Speed is going to be coming back soon. And
Yes.
So we have to bring back that tradition of him going. Whoa.
I am sure he will be doing a nice long Let's Read once we start recording Living the Dream, which is happening today. Yay!
The
Sound Speed
duration
is
will
God.
be equal to the break.
Sound Speed is God.
Soundspeed is a very lovely human being, though I wouldn't go so far as to call him a
Anyway,
god.
back to the topic at hand.
I have literally changed my religion on Facebook to the cult of Sound Speed.
I'm
God
sure he
damn it.
probably appreciates that. So, as I was saying, we are going to be back to playing a role-playing game, and as I said before, that we are going to be doing one based in Japan, of
In
all
Japan.
places.
Yay!
This one is I haven't actually come up with a name for it yet, so I'll probably.
It's called Japanese People Do Things.
I was thinking something
are
like
interested by
the
it.
Comet over Kyoto or something like that, but I'll figure it out before I post the video.
Oh boy.
Katana Tokyo
I will not
Suzuki,
fucking put the
Honda
word
Civic.
katana in any video I upload ever because fuck katanas.
Fine, Suzuki,
No, wait.
Honda Civic, Shigeru Miyamoto, Nintendo.
Shut up! Let
There
the
you-
dude finish.
there
Oh
you
my
go.
god!
Culturally
Comet
sensitive.
katanas, comet spelled with a K.
Yes, okay, fine. So, gentlemen, if you're done...
You really ought to think more about that before you agree to it.
Okay,
No.
let's
Okay,
let
if
the
you're-
Duhad
I
finish his
refuse
sentence.
to pay attention to anything that is not... This is how we're going to make the characters. You guys have your character sheets, right?
Yep.
I have a blank text file.
Good.
I
That
I
is...
have a
Still
grenade.
using.
Just, you can use the old one,
Right.
just like delete all the shit on it. It'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm going to
I
bring
like
up my...
how right after I said I have a grenade launcher, it went completely silent on my end.
Well, we were still talking.
I hate
so-
all of you. I hate all of you. So as I was saying, obviously with exceptions before people start like arguing over who I should or should not hate. Gentlemen, let's get down to this crap before I murder someone. So, as before, you guys are going to be playing heroic characters. Oh my god.
Yay.
Well, heroic is in power level, not as in you guys have to be heroic, because let's face it, you're not going to be fucking heroic. I know you all well enough.
Yep.
Nope.
So, as I was saying, you guys are going to be playing heroic level characters. That means that you are going to get 20 attribute points.
Awesome.
20 attribute points.
Yes, 15
Damn.
points that you can put into qualities.
How many quality points?
15. Up to 10 in drawbacks, so you don't have to write that down, because, I mean, it's the same for everything ever, so I have that kind of pretty memorized. And 35 skill points.
Whoa!
Indeed.
Okay, hold on.
You get an exceptionally large number of skill points.
Okay, wait, so 15
So
quality
basically,
points.
we're Japanese superheroes then.
Well, you're Japanese, very, very, very competent people. The way to
Are we
think...
all playing in Kamen Rider universes?
No, not quite.
Wait,
The way to think about it is pre-heroic is normal people, heroic is like a movie character.
Oh, okay.
There is a
Okay.
higher tier than that in some games,
That
in
would
like cinematic
actually make
games.
sense with the kind of character that I'm going to play.
Yes.
okay, so
There you go.
20 primary attribute points, 35 skill points, 15 quality points, and 10 drawback points.
You can buy up to 10 drawback points to get extra points in other places.
Okie dokie.
Okay, so, what do I do?
Don't worry, I'm getting to that as we go along.
Everyone.
So, I'm going to try and go through this relatively quickly, as most of us have already been through it once, and it's pretty simple once you kind of get the basic idea. So, Time Knight, just pay attention. You should be able to kind of follow along pretty easily.
Okay.
first of all, no, we are not playing the G Gundam universe, Sean. So first of all, for your primary attribute points, you will see on the character sheet, I believe, 6 primary attributes, which would be strength, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, will, power, and perception.
Hold on, I don't think I have a.
Oh, right, you will have one. So someone send one to Time Knight. I actually don't know where I
Hello?
put the stupid things. Hello? Yep.
Okay, there we go.
All right, someone send one into you.
I had one open.
No, we're not playing DBZ. It's not DBZ. It's not Dragon Ball. It's not anime. Shut up. Japan has a rich and storied history
one.
of all sorts of cool and
think.
interesting things. What was it?
I think I sent one.
Here's the
copied
link.
it.
Perfect. You guys sound like you got it.
Yeah, it's downloading.
Okay, so I'll kind of run back over things real quick with
I
you.
missed.
I'll run back over.
I think you mean I missed.
I'll run back over things with you, Time Knight, right afterwards. Though, again, just pay attention to this, and it'll make it a little bit easier once we go through quickly to finish up your character.
Okay.
So, 20 points can be spent in your attributes. Attributes have to have at least 1 point in them. I like Ronman. We're not going to. It's not anime. It's not manga. Shut up. It is. You have to have at least 1 point in each area. 1 is weak, 2 is human average, 3 is above average, 4 is superb, 5 is basically human maximum, and 6 costs 2 points. And it is literally the borderline super heroic. It's like Captain America levels of. This is technically possible for a human being to achieve, but it's like Olympian level of, this.
It's like you are now officially sound speed.
Yes, sure. But like having 6 intelligence would be like you're Stephen Hawkins, or having like 6 strength
Stephen
would be.
Hawkins?
Sorry.
Wow, I didn't know Jim Hawkins reproduced.
Fuck. Right.
My techie things.
Oh yeah,
You
and
know
by
I'm
the way,
going.
that reminds me, Hare, I heard what you said.
About what?
You know about what?
I don't know about what.
Yes, you damn well do, motherfucker.
No, I don't. What did I
What the fuck did you
say?
say about me, you little bitch? I will have you know that I
Oh,
graduated
God.
at the top of my class in the Navy SEALs. I have over 300 confirmed kills, and I have been included on numerous raids on Al Qaeda, and I am not interested in water sports.
Zindar, I absolutely agree with you.
Oh.
Um,
That. I don't know, dude. I thought I saw you. I peeked into your bathroom stall the other day.
Oh,
Wait.
Christ. Before we get any deeper into that one.
Do you want me to throw you again?
Okay, so guys, do we want to make a character or not?
I would.
Yes, please.
All right, well, then stop interrupting me.
By the way, no.
Time Knight, did you get that thing downloaded?
Yes, I got the things.
Okay, so once again, to go over this again real quick, 20 attribute points. You can spend them in any combination you want on the character sheet. You have to have at least 1 point in each of the 6 primary attributes, and you probably shouldn't go to 6 unless you have a reason. And don't forget that if you do go to 6, it's going to cost you an extra 2 points to go from 5 to 6. So it's like 5 points to get to 5, 7 points to get to 6.
So you go from human average to sound speed.
Yes, on a scale of weak and wimpy person to sound speed, apparently, that is the scale you're working with.
All right.
You friggin'
Okay.
nerds.
Okay, let's not bring back the wet dice.
So next,
That is actually a rubber wristband that I tied up a little bit.
next we're gonna get into your qualities and drawbacks. You get to spend 15 points on qualities, and every drawback you get gives you extra points to spend in qualities, attributes, or skills. Though tell me if you want to convert, because the conversion rate is a little different depending on what you want to buy.
Okay.
So I'm going to just read down these things. If any of them sound interesting to you, stop me and I can go into more detail, though I suspect most of you will either remember a lot of these from the last game or be able to figure them out more or less from the way they are, from their names. I will also be listing off the quality or drawback cost, which again, for anyone who is new, anyone in the stream who's watching to try and learn the unit system, and
Look
for
it up.
Time Knight, no, shut up. the way it works is every quality point that you spend costs you points from your pool of qualities. Buying a drawback in quotations, is actually getting extra points to spend by taking negative traits. So, without further ado, qualities / drawbacks: acute or impaired senses, type 2-point quality or drawback. So this would be you choose one of the 5 senses, and it's either really good or really weak. You can take this multiple times for different senses, but you can't double down. You can't be like, oh, I have really good eyes and really crappy eyes. No, that's ridiculous.
That is an oxymoron.
Yes. Addiction type. That's obviously a drawback. Adversary type. Enemies and rivals and whatnot.
Okay, G-Money is alive.
Drawback. Hey, G-Money.
No, G-Money is just to live.
And I'm here.
Hey, we're doing character creation. You should remember the basics. If you can't finish your character right now, just half complete it, and we will finish it after the in time for the second game. It's alright if you have a half completed character sheet for the first game.
Anyway, can you repeat that last quality or drawback?
Adversary type.
Yeah, adversary type is a drawback. It is you have a rival or an enemy or someone who basically wants to mess with you, maybe in like a killer way or maybe in just a kind of annoying way. How dangerous they are and how powerful they are determines the price. Gyro-Con.
I have a quick question that has to do with my character concept before we continue. When's this taking place?
This is taking place relatively early into the Warring States period. It will still be a while before Oda Nobunaga manages to, change the emperor and reinstate the shogunate. And things go kind of nutty.
Redo my character bit, because the thing I was going for was only during the Edo period.
Okay, fair enough.
I have no idea what you just said.
Okay, the Warring States period
I thought you said this was in... Wait.
No.
I'm just going to make my guy kind of Slipknot-esque.
Yeah, look, here's the important thing. You guys are in a province ruled by a relatively minor warlord who is dealing with a bandit problem. That is, the guns have not really started coming into Japan yet, and as far as it goes, this is a period in Japanese history that most people should be familiar with because it is basically the period of Japanese history that every, medieval fantasy-style Japanese story ever has been set in.
Okay.
Having said that, let's see. Okay, artistic talent type, 3-point mental quality, attractiveness that can be a positive or negative, depending on whether you are good-looking or ugly as sin. Variable cost.
Okay. What if I want to make my character so ugly as to constantly wear a mask?
That would be 5 on. That'd be 5 on attractiveness. Yeah, that'd be 5. That gives you 5 points. It is a 5-point drawback. You are literally so horrifying, disfigured that you have to wear a mask. That is actually they mention that as being a 5-point drawback in the book.
Wow.
So it's like if you want to be like sort of the Elephant Man or like a big scarred up, burned Freddy Krueger looking dude.
So ugly as shit. Drawback level 5.
Yes. Charisma, positive or negative. Just like attractiveness, it is how well-spoken you are versus how crude and unpleasant you are. And as another point for attractiveness, while negative attractiveness is almost always a drawback, there's one area where it is a good thing to have, and that is if you ever try to intimidate someone, you can use your negative attractiveness to essentially frighten people.
Nice.
Anyway, so
what is that background noise?
I am not sure.
I don't know.
It is coming from
G-Money.
G-Money.
It's probably coming from me.
Yep. Well, we will try our best to ignore it for now. So pretty much he has to wear a mask. Yes, he pretty much has to wear a mask. He's a Power Ranger.
Okay.
Sean, you nerd. Sorry, just a... Okay, clown. 1-point drawback. You are constantly cracking jokes, even in times when it is not necessarily appropriate. Contacts. Type. You have... Contacts. It is like people who you can call upon. Allies. And sources of information. Or even just people who run places where you can crash if you need a place to lay low. Obviously, worth a different amount depending on how useful and how powerful and how, loyal your contacts are. Covetous type, 1 to 3 point mental drawback. This is basically there is something that you want, and depending on the level that you have it at, you are more or less psychotically driven to go after this sort of thing. So it can be like greed, it can, like you're covetous for wealth, you're covetous for fame, you're covetous for, I don't know, a good fucking fight, I don't know. Whatever it is, you can have an unhealthy obsession with it. Cowardly, 1 to 3 point mental drawback. The varying levels at which you do not want to fucking put yourself at risk. Pretty straightforward. Cruel, 1 or 3 point mental drawback. Always a fun one. Cruel level 1 is that you have very little empathy for people who you are not close to, and you are willing to do some pretty fucking awful things and rather enjoy doing them. 3 points is where you cross the line from you are willing to do horrible things to horrible people and to people that you don't like, but, hold yourself back around your friends or the innocent. 3 is when you just go full-on sociopathy and you are, like, no one is safe from your nasty, horrible disposition. You're not necessarily a full-on killer, but you are a, psychotic motherfucker. There's in the Buffy game, there's actually a 5 point drawback, which knocks that up to, like, literally murderous levels, and vampires start with that.
That's scary.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'm going with cruel level 1.
Of course you are. Delusions type. You have some sort of bizarre idea that does not necessarily fit with reality. Examples of this can be this is not weird delusions, that's a different thing. Delusions is usually things like prejudices, stuff like that. Like things that are not necessarily like crazy or paranoid, but don't line up perfectly with reality. So being sexist, racist, homophobic, etc., would kind of
So,
classism.
not like schizophrenia.
No, that is that would be a mental problem. That is a different thing.
Okay.
Delusions
I'm
are
looking
just
forward to that one, though.
delusions of grandeur would be a delusion, though. Yeah, it's like
Okay, then definitely.
less directly harmful, more kind of just douchey things. Anyway, emotional problems type. This is where you start getting
level 2 delusions of grandeur.
Yeah, God. Emotional problems type. This is where you start getting into like the actual like serious problems with your brain. So that can be things like depression or crippling, dependency issues, stuff like that.
Yes, dependency issues. All right.
Yes.
Being poor.
That would not be an emotional problem.
Not an emotional
Yeah,
problem.
but I know how we can fix that. Lesbians.
Apply lesbians directly to the forehead to cure being poor.
Or
Yes.
would that be a
Lesbians.
delusion?
Apply directly to them.
Or would that be
Anyway,
That's
Please,
anyway.
if you actually look at
dumbest
the
thing.
stuff, lesbians are just a stick of wax. There's like no real active chemical in them.
Okay, but
this
wait.
is literally the dumbest thing I've ever not even going there. Anyway, so
So wait, with emotional problems, if I were to say like massive anger issues, how many points would that be?
anger issues, that would probably I'd call that a 2 point drawback. You'll have to make a willpower test in situations where you're getting really angry to avoid just lashing out and doing something destructive without necessarily being able to be stopped by counsel from other players or the GM,
All right.
or
I'm
even
gonna pick
good thinking
How
from
much would
your player.
dependency issues be?
Depends on how crippling they are, and so it's like if you're dependent upon another player or something, then probably a 2 point drawback. If you have like serious if you have a dependent, if someone is depending upon
it's
you,
more like
that'd be...
I was gonna say like more like a fear of being alone. Would that be the dependency?
Yeah,
issue?
that'd be emotional dependency. I believe that's a 2 point
Okay, so
drawback.
that's like a 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a 2 point drawback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Fast reaction time.
Yes.
That is 2 point mental quality. It is you think fast, you act fast, you are fast. Woocha!
You're too slow.
You're too
Damn
slow.
it.
All right, hard to kill.
Come on, step it up.
Oh, Jesus. Hard to kill. 1 to
Hard
5.
to kill. Yes.
1 to 5 point physical quality. Every level gives you an extra 3 hit points and gives you the ability to something dark side something father. No, it gives you the ability to survive in situations where you go into negative health before medical experts can come and try and help you.
All right.
Though,
Hard to kill 5 motherfuckers.
motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm getting hard to kill this time because it's just.
I'm
like...
getting 5 levels.
I'm getting
I
all
think-
the levels in hard to kill.
I'm gonna get at least 3 myself.
I'm putting all my quality points in hard to kill.
I'm the hardest to kill.
I
I'm not gonna
am
put anything
South.
into it.
Oh, sorry. Son of a bitch. Have a second. I need to turn off the sound off on the stupid fucking... goddamn commercials. Okay, I'm just turning off the volume on Google Chrome altogether so that it will not randomly play.
Interfere with my own noise.
Yeah.
Why are there no pictures of number 8's new mask?
No. Okay, so... honorable. 1 to 3 point mental drawback. If you are planning on playing some sort of samurai, you definitely should be buying at least 2 levels of that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Honorable level 2.
Yeah, so honorable level 1 is, of course, you have a code of honor that you follow. You try not to lie to people. You try not to engage in nasty behavior,
Although-
but you can bend the rules if it's...
Not necessarily quite definitely with a samurai. Saying all samurais followed Bushido is like saying all knights followed chivalry.
Well, yes, I know, but like the thing is, you probably want to have
Or-
at least 1 level in it, because not would be kind of a great way of making yourself, you know, like
Yeah.
a political
Yeah.
target.
Wait,
No,
this
So
is
like
like a lot of
Of-
the warlords at the time.
Yeah, but like the thing is,
So
like
this
most of
would
them
be-
at least like paid lip service to the idea. Like they were like, "Oh yeah, no, totally," because the thing is, it essentially gave you perfect possibility to be invaded if you openly defied that sort of thing. Because it was like, "Oh hey, this guy's acting in dishonorable fashion. Fucking murder him and take his land."
Do we need
Yeah.
brawling?
What is it?
Is brawling a
Brawling
thing?
is not a quality.
that's a
It
skill.
is a skill.
Oh, my bad.
Yes,
Alright, taking
Stupid is
honor
wrong.
level 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, level 2 here.
Humorless. 1 point mental drawback.
Yeah, no.
Hyperlingual.
You are Drax the Destroyer.
Yes. Hyperlingual. You don't even want to bother with this because this is during a time when Japan really wasn't dealing with a whole lot of multiculturalism.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lazy. 2 point mental drawback. You
Oh, hell no.
Right. An
Man.
exception with that might be a monk who'd probably know Chinese.
yeah, okay. A monk might know Chinese.
I thought you were talking about a monk that's really lazy. He's just like,
You
kicks
can do
back,
that too.
Girl,
Ooh.
I ain't doing nothing today.
I'm doing shit.
Nope.
Girl, your ass look like Canada.
Mine is starting to come out like a monk, actually.
Oh Christ!
You're-
All right, well that can be fun.
Ass is a hat.
I don't know. Anyway,
I
so
Okay,
A
Forget
crossbreed
number
between a
8's
monk
mask.
and a-
now
Alright.
another thing, if you want to play
Oh.
samurai, this is an absolutely literally must-have if you want to play samurai. Military rank.
Kinky.
That'd be a variable point social quality or drawback. If you were like a private, or in this case like a peasant soldier or something, it is a drawback because you have to follow people's orders. If you're anything higher, it is a quality because it basically means that you're higher up on the military tier. You can order people around, and since it's a fairly militaristic culture, it comes with a bit of respect.
Yeah. Can we? How much is humorless again?
That is a 1 point 1 point drawback, 1 point social
Okay.
drawback.
Let's see, I could either be really funny or really stupid or really lack of humor.
Would that also
Yes.
apply to sort of non-official military things like gangs, yakuza, things
Yes,
like that?
this also applies to like the police or the yakuza, or if you guys decide to end up kind of working a little bit more with the bandits, they have their own military order, kind of like in a slightly looser
Gangsters,
way. But yeah, so samurai would definitely be at least a 3 point quality in that regard, as they are very close to the equivalent of like knights. They tend to be fairly
Good.
fairly respected
They
in
lead
society.
armies.
Yeah,
Rank.
exactly. Now, if you just want to be like a professional soldier or something, that might
I
be a
thought you were
1
about
or
to say
2.
professional wrestler.
If you want to smell what the Rock is cooking,
guys?
then you should probably put 1 point.
Hold on.
By the way,
Mine's become a weird combination of
Well, you may still need military rank with professional
Shit,
wrestling
really?
if you're Sergeant Slaughter.
That's true.
Or Captain Lou Albano, who played Mario.
Okay, who turned on the stream sound?
It sounds
Yeah,
like it's
somebody has a stream sound.
Sorry, that's me. Cause my
that's
Because my
the castle. Ah,
Damn it.
my
But on another note, it's nice to see you're doing well here. I forgot to invite that.
shit. Really?
well,
Also,
well is a relative
this
term
would
at
be,
this point.
This would be the mask my character is using.
Oh,
Sorry,
Jesus.
I ran into technical difficulties. Like
Technical
my
difficulties.
headphones were
Technical difficulties?
no, cause
Here.
slightly, and then my computer was just like, nope, they're not plugged in.
That's true. The
I
Amani
see.
tribe of the northernmost islands of Japan did have their own language, but you know who didn't like particularly like them?
Who?
The rest of Japan. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like when I say Japan wasn't into multiculturalism, I also mean in terms of like Japan's own, varying cultures.
So wait, what was the last quality
Yeah,
we
don't
got?
mind me. The reason why there's so much background noise is in my coffee shop.
It's okay. The last one I mentioned was military rank. After that,
Yeah.
and here would be a reason why you might know another language, minority. At this time, that
And-
would basically have to be either an Amani tribe member, which would be a 1-point drawback, or someone from China or Korea, either one of which would be a 3-point drawback because you will get literally no fucking respect. That is an evil
Other-
looking mask.
Other point potentially
Oh, interesting.
could be foreign religions, which also were treated rather
And-
harshly at the time.
Yeah.
Mostly
Question
that includes a
about
lot of the
the-
Western religions like Christianity. At certain points, Buddhism, they tend to go back and forth between accepting and hating Buddhism.
Yeah. In this case, I'd say you probably get 1.1 for being a Buddhist, just because like most of the a lot of places you'd be fine, but there'd be some places where you would get into trouble for that.
Okay.
Buddhist booty.
Question about the Amane tribe.
Yo,
Would there be sort of ascetics there? That
what?
would would there be any hermits that could come out of that?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, it's just like you'd probably be looked down on by anyone who was sort of like, oh, you're one of those fucking tribals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Though again,
Interesting.
they weren't like as distinctive looking as some minority groups in some areas were. So like, it wouldn't be like a type of thing where like you'd be like a black guy in like Jim Crow's in the Jim Crow South. It wouldn't be like you stick out like a sore thumb and people are actively incredibly hostile to you just based on your appearance.
Yeah.
You stick
Okay.
out like
More
a
like-
chocolate
it'd be
bar
more
in
like-
a swimming pool.
All right.
Sounds like you just wouldn't be appreciated very often.
Yeah,
But
it'd be
not like you wouldn't be like flat out hated.
yeah. If people like found who you were and stuff,
Like,
they probably
won't-
wouldn't give
they
you
won't
any
take
sort
your
of
opinion
respect. But
first,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it.
yeah.
but they'll give
Anyway.
you but they'll give you more respect than someone who's a foreigner.
Yeah, like they definitely take you over like someone from China or Korea or something like that. At any rate, military rank, minority, multiple identities. You really don't need that.
Yes, I
insane.
do. Yes, I do.
There aren't like really large scale like this is in China. If you were in China, you could totally get like an alternate identity because the government actually did
I
census
thought you
field
meant
stuff.
like multiple personality disorder.
No. This is like having all the paperwork for a second, for a second set of IDs and whatnot.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, no. Nerves of steel. 3-point
Nerves
mental.
of steel.
Yeah, nerves of steel. 3-point mental.
Nerves of steel.
3-point mental quality. It is there for you to be unshakable. Obsession
Alright,
type. 2-point mental drawback. Obsession is like covetous, except that instead of being, it essentially works in the exact same way as a 3-point level obsession, except that it is hyper focused on like a single thing. So instead of being, you have a general obsession with fighting, it would be you have an insane obsession with, like proving you're the best, or like instead of being you want revenge on entire people who, or like you kind of have like a thing where it's like, oh, I want to kill all of the members of this group. It would be, there is this one fucking guy, I want him dead, I am going to hunt him down and murder him.
Okay.
like most emperors of the time.
Yes, in some ways. But anyway, point is, if you have an obsession, you have a hyper, you have a specific obsession with someone that you were just going to insane lengths to do shit with.
Or an
How much
insane
was-
obsession with puppies.
That would be more like covetous. You are covetous for puppies. You want all of the puppies, and you will murder every little boy and girl to get their puppies.
I have.
How
I have
much
a
was
covetous,
the multiple
I have a covetous
personalities
for
one?
women.
What was that? Multiple personalities? We haven't got there. That was a mistake. That would be, I believe, emotional
No,
problem.
No, the
Oh, multiple identities?
yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Oh, 2-point quality. 2-point quality.
Covet.
I guess it could matter if you are multiple like nobles.
This is true.
Because a noble's the only one
Yeah.
that are gonna have enough records for you to really need it.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah,
like-
if you are like two nobles playing multiple sides against each other and stuff,
Well, you want to be like a samurai who's like also
also
like,
another samurai.
yeah, I mean like that is technically
working for, like,
possible.
working for say a different warlord and then using the fighting between both to your advantage.
Yeah, that's totally reasonable. You could do that.
That's
I
what I was
guess,
going for.
Anyway, irregardless, paranoid, 2-point mental drawback.
I have a covet.
yes.
I have a covetous for multiple women. Yes, I want all the women.
You just want to collect them. Okay.
Yeah, but that's not a good idea since their opinions don't really count.
Oh god! Stop making that joke.
No.
No, keep that joke in the context of living the dream, or else otherwise it makes us sound like horrible fucking people.
Jesus
Like
Christ,
this.
dude, what the fuck is wrong
No,
with you?
it's a joke from living the dream based on the fact that the writer is a horrible fucking sexist and made a comment about how women's opinions don't matter, and we use that to mock people who are being sexist. It doesn't work outside of the context of Let's Read because people don't necessarily have the context of how sexist the writer of Living the Dream had been.
Yeah, God, dude, what's wrong with you, Nero Brony?
just-
Jesus.
Can't
I was
resist
thinking the
making
same.
those references.
I was thinking the same thing from my end. I was like, man, that wasn't the right time to be using that.
Yeah, don't say that in
I
public.
I know, right?
And
Context-
When is it ever really the right time?
Rule for all people about making jokes. Context and audience are fucking important.
Not
Hey,
to
it's,
me.
it's funny that me, the usual guy who's really bad with that context, figured out that was a bad context for that.
That's
That's how
good.
you know you
I
messed up.
know, right?
Okay, anyway, so
I
photographic
vote let's
memory.
do Nero again.
Oh, Jesus.
Photographic memory.
Hey, I literally have a strength of 6, so good
Photographic memory.
How much is
Two-point-
that?
Phonographic.
Photographic memory. It is.
I
It
I
means
want a
that.
phonograph.
Beyond the law.
Okay, photographic memory is a 2-point mental quality. It allows you to basically perfectly remember things.
How do you get pornographic memory?
You have photographic memory and then watch a lot of porn.
That would
Physical
be-
disability type: missing or crippled arm, missing or crippled leg, paraplegic,
Can I
crack.
be a
Crippled brain.
You can have a limb. You can be a cripple if you want.
You can have
I'm
a
gonna give myself-
fedora.
I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a limp. It makes you look like a cool warlord if you have a limp.
Okay, 1-point drawback for just having a slightly crippled leg. Basically, you walk slightly slower, and in like a sword fight, you might have a disadvantage, but a minor one.
Basically, I took an arrow to the knee one day.
God
So
damn.
you got married?
Yeah, that would be what that actually means.
In the literal sense.
Well,
for-
I mean, some people do count that as being crippled, but seriously.
I mean, like,
getting
man,
married.
God, I feel sorry for all of our lady viewers because they're just gonna be like, oh my God, these people are literally
I
the
know,
worst.
right?
They're just like the worst people in the universe.
God dang it.
Just
Yeah,
be aware.
seriously.
That's
Sorry,
just
Tenma.
Hey,
Nero.
I'm
Just
not.
Nero.
I'm not
And-
saying
and
it can't
G.
be gay marriage.
Duhad,
Oh,
Duhad
Christ.
is really proud of me because I've been the mildest and the quietest today, and I haven't said anything stupid.
More or less,
Yeah.
yes.
And I've been trying to get this on topic, so anyway, back
Anyway.
to qualities.
Yes.
And besides, it would be a ya in the knee.
Right now!
Yeah.
Hold on, keep the volume down. We have had complaints about this about shouting and ear bleeding and all that.
Seriously, come on, Jack.
Though I do appreciate Hare's point about everyone shut the hell up. Reckless, 2-point mental drawback.
I'm already reckless, so let's go.
All right. Recurring nightmares, 1-point mental drawback. You roll a d10 every night, and there's a chance that you will. Sorry, I lost.
that you will have a dream of whatever.
Right, yeah, sorry. You have a 1/10 chance of having a horrible nightmare and not being able to sleep properly that night. Apparently, according to Zadar, homosexuality was not hated at the time in as much as it is in other points in history in feudal Japan, which
And then
makes sense. There's a lot of
that
a lot of older cultures tended to be less homophobic, if only just because it wasn't really a thing. It wasn't really considered like a thing to be concerned about because there was more pressing matters about being stabbed in the face.
I was gonna say, I think it's
that, and they were
about dying and then getting, laid.
well. Then you throw in the fact that they tend to be more misogynistic.
Yes, that too.
So then it's like,
Fucking a guy was considered less of a problem than being a woman for some of these cultures.
So recurring nightmares is how many points again?
over 9,000.
1 point mental drawback.
Okay.
That too.
Yeah, let it never be said that ancient cultures are perfect. Let it never be said. Resistance type. 1 point per level of physical quality.
What was it again? Sorry.
Resistance type. 1 point per level of physical quality. Basically, you are resistant to cold, heat, pain, etc., etc., etc.
You know what? Since I took an aerodynamic, I might as well get like resistance to pain out of it.
That makes total sense.
Since you're married, you're used to the pain.
God.
Yeah, actually, no. Sean makes a good point.
Nero.
Due to the fact that feudal Japan was pretty sexist, if you want to play a female character, that would be 1 point drawback in the same way as a minority, because your opinion would be disregarded and you'd be generally kind of treated like shit compared to your male companions.
Yeah, no matter what you did, even if you pulled a Mulan, you were not respected.
Yeah.
it's I'm pretty sure that pulling a Mulan was a capital crime.
One second, I think I hear the SJWs lining up at my door.
Well, send them to feudal Japan. There you go.
Oh Christ, we're not going to start a fucking fight between SJWs and MRAs. Well, I have too many friends on both sides of that point.
What about MRIs?
I don't know what that is, so I'm
Christ.
They're kind of disgusting, but useful in a pinch.
What about MREs?
Anyway,
MREs is what I meant. MRIs is something completely different from MREs.
Yes,
yeah, I wouldn't eat an MRI.
And I'm disappointed that you made the confusion, Rydell.
Speaking of MREs,
resources.
Children, don't eat MRIs.
Okay, resources.
Resources, 2 point negative or positive quality. Unlike in the last game, this one is important. Having money is very useful. Having no money is a serious drawback.
Well, if I'm a samurai, I have money.
Yeah, so you can be a poor samurai, but
it's a 2 point
what if
per
I'm
level.
Like I'm poor?
Yeah, it's 2 points per level, up or down. You can get up to 10 in either direction.
Yeah, I don't want to be too wealthy though.
Yeah, actually, I think you can get to 5 in either direction. Sorry, yeah. But be aware that trying to pour points into being poor in order to get extra points will have serious negative repercussions, and having a bit of money can definitely be handy.
Okay.
Secret
drawbacks.
type, was it?
About how much money
5
is
into drawbacks.
5 in draw. So you're destitute.
Yeah, you're poor.
Yes.
Okay, so you will not be starting with equipment, by the way. Like, you will basically be kind of like really ragtag. Like, you might have a sword or a spear or something, but like you're not going to be buying
Sword's
armor.
Unlikely, given the quality of metals at the time. Creating a decent sword is extremely
decent
expensive.
would be not what I was talking about with a sword. I mean like a rusty piece of shit that you like scavenged off a battlefield.
I was gonna say he found it.
We're talking different
literally
qualities of decent then, because I was.
Rust, and you're picking it up.
I can't imagine a poor person getting even the rusty sword.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about like a proper I'm talking like a half a broken sword that's like shitty and rusty and stuff. Like
maybe a wooden sword.
Steal it. You can steal it.
That was done crappy.
I think he could steal it. I think he could steal a sword off a battlefield. You just have to stab a couple other looters or something.
Is going to use her words as her weapons.
Yeah, or you could have a knife. Oh, you playing a lady as well? You are my favorite. I love you. You take all the most thankless roles, which is something that I love doing in role-playing games.
Oh boy.
I'm starting to like him a lot more with those roles.
Yeah.
Back. Secrets type.
Yeah. Secrets type. That would be you have a secret. The bigger and more devastating it would be for that secret to get out, the more of a drawback it is. If you are playing an Amishu, you should probably have that at least at level 1, because you probably do not go around advertising that fact.
On your
you're playing
wedding
a what?
night, you take off your mask and go, "I'm Drew Carey."
Yeah, Namu, if you are, Hair, you probably would have relatively lower wealth, though. I think the idea that you'd start at -5 is probably not exactly right, because chances are, if you left the village and are wandering now, you probably have developed something of a understanding of why money is goddamn important.
Okay, so I should add resources as a drawback, or...
You should probably have at least a couple of levels of negative resources.
Okay, I'll go ahead and...
If you're like straight out of the tribe, then you definitely be at like -5. But assuming that you've been wandering around for a while
He's
now,
been wandering around for a while,
yeah, you
I
probably have at least enough money
-4.
to be a poor person, but not necessarily a destitute beggar.
think. Would -2 work?
That would be fine. You are
Okay.
poor.
Okay, and that would count as a drawback.
Yes, that would be a drawback. Having no money is in fact not a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so secret, yeah, and
You have to spend extra points to be poor.
oh, if you have multiple identities, for anyone who picked up multiple identities, this would also be a good one to probably have, because obviously you want to keep the fact that you have multiple identities a secret, or else they kind of stop being very useful.
I'm curious, if you're playing something that's like a samurai or something like that, can you be like, do you have to like be aligned to someone directly, or can you just kind of be like your own mercenary
You
type?
can be your own, though that would technically mean that you're no longer a samurai, but a ronin, because you would be a samurai without a master.
Ronin
Or you could be the emperor.
Or you could be the emperor, but I'm assuming you're not playing the fucking emperor.
I'm not playing them. Okay, I guess I'll be a Ronin. That makes more sense.
What would be the multiple identities in the
They're
secret?
not. They're not respected.
Depending on what your multiple identities are. If like one of them is like, if they are multiple identities that could let you like spot as a spy, that would be like a 3 or a 4. If it's more along the lines of like you have a identity as a minor noble and then an identity as like a poor beggar, and you kind of like use them for some other non-spying based purpose, it would probably be something more like a 1 or a 2.
So, if you, dang, where was I going? If you sometimes, what if you often go in disguise as different people sometimes?
That would probably be multiple identities, and you definitely want that as a secret. Like secret.
For the secret,
you are-
basically consider what would happen if you're found out.
Yeah.
One
Oh,
is
yeah,
you'd be highly embarrassed. 2 is you'd probably face some legal trouble. 3 is you would be killed.
3 is
yeah.
actually more like, all right, let's put it this way. 1 would be you come out as gay after being like a staunch Republican with a lot of, and end up losing a lot of political face because of it.
Yeah.
2 would be you come out as gay in a, like the deep south with a family that is fucking like super fucking like against it, and you'd get a lot of trouble, and you'd probably have to move, and you'd lose all your friends and shit. 3 would be you are actually in danger of being thrown in jail for revealing, the things that you, like revealing your secret, like you were a crook, or like you once, like you hit and run someone, and like you would definitely be facing jail time if it came out. 4 would be you were probably facing a life sentence and a very good chance of getting killed. 5 is you will have like the CIA or the Emperor or some major power essentially going, "Oh, that's you? Motherfucker, you're dead."
Hey, I was thinking it only went up to 3.
Okay then.
Hey, I'm back, and there's no need to repeat that because I'm not going to be using secrets.
Yeah, you're just a psychopath.
Would I be using secrets?
You would definitely have at least a minor secret.
Okay.
Yeah, Superman would probably be like superheroes in general would probably have like a 4 or something. Less because they would be a danger themselves, but more about the whole danger to the loved ones thing. Because their loved ones would be put in extreme danger. I'd call that a 3 or a 4, depending on how much trouble the loved ones would be in.
I guess I wouldn't have any issues.
Yeah.
I guess I wouldn't have any issues since I'm kind of on my own.
Fair enough. Again, if you could be thrown in jail or something, that would still be something you'd consider a secret. But again, like if it's nothing, if it's more just whatever, then whatever.
Yeah, but my character's also Tryfin, and at this point I don't think he sort of cares that he's a little more powerful than everyone else.
Yeah, you probably want that as like a 1 at least, just to essentially be like, yeah, you probably don't want that gang yet, because that could be really pretty embarrassing.
Hi, Prince Cool Flash.
Gang
Hey, Prince
member
Cool
in
Friends.
an
Cool
area
Flash.
just largely controlled by the gang. That probably wouldn't be a secret all then, would it?
Oh, what was it?
If a gang member in an area where the gang has de facto control.
Yeah, like if you're wearing your
Yes,
fucking like tattoo in such a way as to demonstrate the fact that you are a Yakuza. Like the Yakuza do not put up much of a secret. They have the tattoos all over their body.
Okay.
They have the tattoos all over their booty.
Booty, booty, booty. Okay, show off.
All right.
2-point mental drawback. We're almost at the end here, guys. We're almost at the end, and we're role playing.
Not a show off.
Winterbolt, Prince Cool Flash.
Okay.
Situational awareness. 2-point mental quality.
Sure.
Statue.
That's kind of important.
Sorry, status. Status can be either positive or negative. This is something along the lines of you have
Wait, how many points is situational awareness?
2-point mental quality.
If I have money, I have status.
Yes. Actually, you get a free point of status for every level of resources you buy, and a negative for each negative.
Cool, I have 3
So it's one of those things that's automatic anyway.
Yeah, you'll automatically be getting that based on your wealth just starting out, because obviously, generally societies favor people with money over people without money. After that, you can also pay to improve your standing. So, for instance...
Okay, so we have a 10-point cap on drawbacks for a second, right?
Yes, you have a 10-point
Okay, if I apply, with my current standings, if I apply status to my drawbacks right now, I'm over the cap by 1 point.
Over the cap of how low you can go?
Like 10 drawback points. If I add status to that, I'm at 11 drawback points.
You can put more than 10 points in. It's just that you only get additional points for the first 10.
Oh, okay.
And that's to prevent minimaxing with like people going like, oh, well, I take like 20 drawbacks and things that probably will be less detrimental, and spend all of those extra points to like boost up my strength by 4 points or some bullshit like that.
Now, yeah, because I'm trying to build up this kind of...
If I do drawbacks for my character development, not so much for the abilities.
I
don't think about that aspect of it.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, my character is starting to come together too. So
yeah, that's totally fine. Again,
But that could be because like I'm still new to the thing, so I don't think about like the strategy of like killing people.
It's good. It's good. Don't fall into the trap of doing that. Like there are some GMs who love doing the whole like super focused combat-y sort of thing. I hate that stuff. I don't do that stuff. I like a story. I like to play a story. I like to have people playing and caring about their characters and not about their stat lines.
Okay.
Typically, if you're going to be in a game where you will be wanted to do that, they'll let you know in advance.
Yeah, they'll basically... Another thing is, like, Unisystem is not a game that is based around that at all. Like, if a game starts you out by saying, what is your class, you're probably in a setting that requires you to play a combat role. If it doesn't ask for a class, you're probably less likely to be required to, optimize your build for aggressiveness.
Also, if it does look at a class, look at the options. If all the classes are combat things, it's going to be a combat setting. If you look through classes and see things like Merchant or Stevedore, then it's using it for something else.
Yeah, obviously exceptions to all of the rules, but yeah, as a rule of thumb, it's not. This isn't D&D. You're going to be expected to fill a combat role. You don't need to worry about trying to min-max.
Okay.
My character has like a bigger like backstory and like life than his actually abilities for some reason.
That's totally cool.
Of course.
I figured that was more important.
Now,
since resources includes bonus to status, I'm guessing it was more than 1 point per level. How much was it per level?
Resources was 2 point per level, positive or negative. Okay. Status is only 1 point per level, and as I said before, you can use this to offset some of the things. So again, now this is an important point. If you have a secret, you do not need to buy negative status for if that secret is revealed. If the secret is revealed publicly, you lose the secret and instead get negative status replacing it, or adversary replacing it, depending on the secret. So, like, if you're just like, for instance, if you want to play let's use Mulan for an example. Mulan would have like a 3-point secret is actually a woman. Actually, probably bumped up to a 4-point because she was going to get executed in the movie. So let's, she avoided that because of all that stuff. But anyway, point is, Mulan takes a 4-point drawback is actually a woman in bindings. when her secret was revealed, since the secret no longer applied to the campaign, assuming this was like a campaign that they were playing as opposed to a movie, she would lose the secret drawback but gain 4-point negative status, revealed as revealed as woman to army. And because of that negative status later on in the film, when everyone's ignoring her and giving her shit, that would be because she's replaced her secret with negative status.
Okay.
Likewise, even if you have negative status due to your monetary situation, that doesn't necessarily mean everyone hates you. You can totally buy status points to offset the status negative from being poor. For instance, Gandhi and Mother Teresa were not exactly wealthy, but they were massively respected. On the other hand, someone like, say, Donald Trump he has a lot of money, and that definitely has helped keep him in relatively good standing. But he definitely does not have as much status as his money would give someone like, say, Bill Gates, because he's gone and done some pretty nasty things and said some pretty racist things. So therefore, he would have negative status, putting the positive status he gets just by being wealthy.
Okay, wait. Yeah. So Prince Cool Flash actually brought up something really good. Would a secret be a fear?
Could fear be a secret? Yes. If you really want your character to hide the fact that they're afraid of something, you could actually have that be a drawback, especially if it's something where they legitimately would lose face for having that fear revealed. So, for instance, if you had a general who had a reputation for being a real badass, but he's actually secretly terrified, and after a battle starts turning against him, he flees only for the battle to then turn around. That would be him revealing his secret and getting a status drawback, because it's oh shit, this dude's actually kind of a coward. Shame, shame, shame.
Or another thing could be if you have a lot of enemies that could use that fear against you.
That would be another good one. Batman being afraid of his parents being murdered or something. I'm sure I think that's come up in a few.
I don't think he's going to be afraid of his parents being murdered. He's kind of run out of parents.
Well, you can always make more. Anyway, so just to wrap it up, because we're almost at the end here of qualities, and then we're moving into skills, and skills go a lot faster. Talentless, 2-point mental drawback. You are just crap at all the artistic mediums. That can also include lying and storytelling and stuff, I've decided. And zealot, 3-point mental drawback. You are zealously devoted to some sort of cause. Basically, you are just you will die for the cause, you will kill for the cause, you will break every moral code and etc. that you have for the execution of this cause. I don't even need to come up with examples, because I'm sure all of you have seen at least one movie that has a zealotous villain who's a Knights Templar sort of dude.
Javert.
Javert would be a great example.
Yep.
Yes.
I know a lot of you are theater geeks, so Javert is a perfect example. All right. Once you guys have written down all of those, and if you have any spare points remaining, we have skills. As I mentioned before, you have 35.
All right, I'm gonna duck out on this one, and we'll figure something out during the week.
Okay, fair enough.
For the rest of mine, because I have work in 5 minutes.
Okay, no worries.
Okay.
You'll just come in. That's actually fine, because it means that
join the chat from work.
Yeah. Okay.
It's really hard
He's gonna be.
It's okay. It's okay. G Money. Yeah, no worries. This actually works out fine, because you can just finish your character, and then your character will be introduced next session when you're able to join us.
All right. Yeah, kind of like last time.
Exactly. So your character will be kind of a later arrival, which is actually even easier in this setting, since you guys aren't on a spaceship, waking up slowly in cryotubes.
And it kind of works with my character's kind of back history of kind of what I wanted to do with him. I'll run it by you, see if it works.
Yeah. No worries. No worries. We'll work that all out. In the meantime, though, have fun, and we'll see you soon.
Okay.
Now, for the rest of you nerds, your skill points. So, because it's been a little while, I'll go over this one last little point before we go into it. My arm's starting to get stiff from holding this book in a weird way. Special skills cost 2 points per level, and you may not attempt to perform a special skill that you have not been trained in. All skills start at 0. If you put 1 point into it, you have been basically trained. 2 points is competent, like working level competent. 3 is like you're pretty darn good at this thing, like you probably do it professionally. 4 is you are exceptionally skilled at something. 5 is you are a master of something, and 6 is you are a world-class, grand master of this thing.
Yeah.
Right. How many skill points do we get?
Superpowers would be a secret. You have 35 skill points. If you have any points remaining from qualities that you did not spend, you may also spend each one of those as an additional skill point.
Okay.
Now,
wait, so that's for the qualities and drawback points, right?
yes, if you have any, well, okay. Obviously, you don't any points you remaining in you have it remaining in the positive. Obviously, you can't buy negative skills.
Okay.
But yeah, no, basically yes. So, without further ado, in alphabetical order: acrobatics, special; acting. Acting can be used for trying to fake your way past things that you're a spy or trying to fool people. By the way, beautician. This is normally about applying makeup and prettying up people, which in feudal Japan was actually a pretty fucking important skill. Most nobles would probably have at least a relative understanding of this, and any courtesan or aide would do well to understand this. It is also usable as a replacement skill for disguise, as you can use it to prepare a basic disguise.
Okay.
Brawling, fisticuffs. Bureaucracy. Less important in feudal Japan as it would be in, say, feudal China. But it can still be useful. Cheating. This is usually involving games. Climbing. Computer. Okay, we're not gonna get involved with computer hacking, computer programming, or computers. Obviously, all those are out the window. Craft type. So this could be metalworking or woodworking or any sort of industrial level, industrial or manufacturing level, crafting.
And that's 1 point per level for that one.
1
right?
point per level, yeah. Unless I say it's a special skill, it's 1 point per level. Also, kabuki actors would definitely want acting and probably makeup, yeah. It would be, and beautician. A kabuki would actually be pretty fucking cool. And actually, I have something planned for that. Don't you worry.
And kill people with their hair, if the NES game has taught me anything.
Yes. Okay, so demolitions. Not generally as useful in this setting, though there is the first gunpowder starting to be introduced, and old school demolition tactics of mining out walls and having them collapse are not unheard of. Let's see here. Disguise. This would be obviously the ability to change your appearance. Beautician can do this to a lesser extent, but disguise is the actual train to do this, to fool people kind of thing. Less generally useful, much more practically useful in the situations that call for it. Dodge, essential for anyone who wants to be fighting. Driving type, in this case it would only be carriages. Which actually, I think this would probably be before horses were really properly introduced, so probably don't buy that.
No ponies.
No bonuses, I'm afraid. Electronic surveillance.
No.
Yeah, obviously no. Electronics, obviously no. Engineering type. This can be structural, structural engineering, civic engineering, etc.
Engineering. Okay.
Escapism.
Shut up.
That's an inside joke with my friend and I.
Oh, Jesus. Escapism. This is your ability to wriggle out of bindings and traps and whatnot.
Yeah.
No, I have 6 strength. I think I can bust out of solid.
You can break these chains. Fine arts
I
type.
can break these cuffs.
Yeah, in this case, fine arts would mostly be calligraphy and painting, but
That would be hilarious on how you just see him wearing a little French beret and daintily painting on this giant.
to be fair, this would be during the
forget-
time when writing in incredibly pretty ways was considered a super noble, thing to do.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
things
fine
like
arts-
calligraphy, painting, poetry, and stuff were really big with samurai.
So
Yeah.
fine arts would be considered literature and poetry.
it could be writing and poetry is part of writing, but fine arts would be the water painting and calligraphy, which were very, very, yeah. And tea ceremonies, that would actually be a ritual. That would be considered a ritual, not a fine art. But yeah, like all those things are considered very manly and very proper for a samurai to be able to do.
So your hideous masked character may want to take tea ceremony so he can look more manly.
Yes.
No, my manly character is going to be writing stories about life.
To be fair, this would be
He's
the time
going
of
to
the
be
warrior
writing
poet.
He's going to be writing really dainty poetry. This is really gargantuan buff guy.
Yeah. All right. First aid. This would actually be not terrible. It is a regular skill. It is the only medical skill that is regular and not special. Just so you know. Gambling. Yeah, 900 hells. Gambling, obviously, actually pretty popular in Japan during this period. Guns type. Arquebuses are just starting to be introduced. You can get your hands on one, though they are kind of shit. Fair warning. Haggling. Useful for anyone who wants to deal with money. It's not something recommended for anyone, like anyone with money or anyone with a really, really low amount of money who wants to not be hungry.
My guy could punch so much of the moon, so I don't think I need money.
Your character a native need that? Would like a tribesman need that or something?
It could be conceivable that you'd have it, but you probably wouldn't have it very high. You'd be like you
like
have
maybe
learned
one
how
or
to
something.
What?
You wouldn't have picked
Like
it
one
up
or
until
two.
after you left. Like,
Yeah, like you might have like one or two levels as depending on how quick of a learner you are.
Okay.
Calligraphy, martial arts, yes.
Hand weapons. So this would be definitely something that most of you would probably want. Swords, knives, and spears are all considered hand weapons and all very popular during this time period.
Okay.
Wait, do we specialize in one of them or all of them if we choose
A
hand
samurai
weapons?
would probably specialize in all of them. A non-samurai would probably be more likely to look into spears, staves, or knives.
well, I think it means
I
is
think
it like
I'm-
a separate skill for each
Oh
one?
yeah, each one's a separate skill. So depending on how many weapons you want to use, you'd buy this multiple times. And you can be
Okay.
differently skilled at different ones. So it could be like, oh, I'm a master spearman, and I also kind of know how to use a sword.
Okay.
So
I'm
I can
gonna
just
go
put
with
down
spearman
blunt.
then.
I can just put down like blunt weapons.
Yeah, clubs would be another one.
Maybe hand.
Okay, yeah, I'm going with spears. Like, if he were to
Hello.
fashion himself a sort of staff or something like that, that would count as spears, right?
That'd be a staff would be considered a club, a sort of club. Unless you sharpen the end, at which point it's a spear. Because there's a difference between the motions you go through to stab someone and the motion you go through to club
All right.
them.
Okay, so hand weapons club.
Yeah. Though I will point out that if you have you are skilled with clubs and you get a spear, you can bash someone around the head with it as a club. It's just not really what it was meant to be used for.
Yeah, I was just thinking in terms of like a long wooden staff.
Yeah, that would just be a club. That's fine. Yeah, and keep in mind that like most swords, like samurai would have big old katanas, but most other people, when it comes to swords, would be carrying around like little like long knives, like what we would consider to be very long knives.
Yeah.
Humanities type. This would be writing, history. Well, not writing, but like history and
History, anti-pescatarianism.
there's not a lot of other things that that were like really big in the humanities at this point, but yeah, history and the social sciences as they existed. Instruction, if you want to teach people. Intimidation, if you want to frighten people.
Okay, what if my guy is ugly as all hell in a handbasket?
You definitely would want to have at least a few points in intimidation, as it is how you go from looking like a dopey, ugly dude to a frightening dopey, a frightening, scary dude.
To a frightening
Alright.
dopey dude.
Yeah, so like it'd be the difference between being Chunk from The Goonies and Marv from Sin City.
So, intimidation of 5, then.
You might not need to go that high.
Yeah,
I
I actually gave myself 1 point in ugliness. I'm only gonna go 1 point in intimidation because it's just like a face burn, right?
Yeah, like a face burn or like even at one point you could even just be like have like a big nose or squinty eyes or like some some, not even necessarily like hideous facial
I'm
deformity, just something that makes you look
low appearance already gives you a bonus to it, so you don't need to go all out on it.
Going up to 5 would just be like, again, the average number you need to beat is...
I realized I'm really scary, so I have spent
have
every day training to be scarier.
I still have 20 skill points.
Well,
left,
then
so.
buy another weapon, you nerd. There's also like a ton of other skills that we haven't got to yet. So...
We're off to I.
Yeah, but my guy can literally beat somebody into the ground.
Then you don't need that much intimidation.
But it's fun.
Okay, whatever.
Go ahead.
I might change
We
it.
like playing dicks a lot.
Language. Again, unless you have a real good reason to know, the native language or a tribe, know how to speak Korean or Chinese, there's probably not a lot you're gonna do with this.
Okay.
It's like you start speaking English randomly.
Language, inarticulate yelling.
Lockpicking, almost completely fucking worthless, as locks were not as big in feudal Japan. Martial arts, kind of a bit more useful. Martial arts is a special combat skill. It is 2 points per level, and it basically works exactly the same way as brawling, except that for each level you have in it, you get an extra +1 damage when fighting unarmed. Myths and legends type. This would almost certainly consist entirely of Japanese myths and legends, but if you want to know those, that is a valid skill. Notice. Your ability to pick up things. Occult knowledge. Probably relatively useless, though, hey, Shintoism does have a whole side that is kind of occult, and you could totally know some of the more esoteric sides of the religion.
I actually know somebody who
As
is
with Buddhism.
apparently Shinto.
It's an interesting faith. I studied Shintoism, Buddhism, Confucianism, which is not kind of religion, but and Taoism, Shinto, Buddhism.
It's close enough to a religion for Civ 5 to count it as one.
Yes.
And that's the ultimate judge.
This is true.
Yeah.
Anyway, point
If
is,
your religion does
don't
not
have,
appear in Civ 5, it is not an actual religion.
Yeah, but I have a mod that allows in Pastafarianism, Cageism,
Yeah,
the Illuminati,
I have-
Freemasonry.
Yeah, I have that same mod.
oh god. Anyway,
Jediism.
pickpocket. Piloting type. Pickpocketing,
My guy
by the
could
way,
just
totally
rip off
valid.
someone's pants and take what
Piloting
they
in
have.
this case would only apply to boats, really. The boats are fairly important to the culture of Japan and have been
Hang
since-
gliders.
Yes, technically true. If you want to have the incredibly uncommon hang gliders be something that you know how to fly, you can do it. And if you have money, you could possibly even commission one to be made for you. That is actually a thing you can do. I will allow that.
Kite-shaped ones.
Yes. Play instrument type. Another useful ability for a cultured gentleman.
Play the electric triangle.
There is no such thing as the electric triangle.
As far as you
Yes,
know.
there is.
Anyway, questioning.
That kind of guitar doesn't count.
No, it is a real instrument.
There's an
it's just
electric
dumb.
hurdy-gurdy.
Play instrument. Questioning.
There's an electric outlet.
Oh, lordy. Ahem.
I play it with my tongue.
Questioning.
Questioning. Research / investigation. Questioning is getting information out of someone. Research investigation is getting information out of a library.
I'm guessing literally beating the information out of somebody doesn't apply to these skills.
That would actually, yes, it would apply. Well, okay, that's mostly intimidation, though if you want to go a little bit less in the scaring people, a little bit more into getting useful information out of them, and knowing when they are lying to you. Because, let's face it, intimidation is great, but it does tend to have the same problem as torture, where you're not 100% certain if you're getting factual information or just scaring them into saying whatever you want them to say.
Okay, and what's the skill called?
Questioning.
Alright.
Riding type. Again, there are some horses, but they are, horses have not yet become a thing in Japan, really.
Riding other people.
Yes, you really...
Jump on their shoulders and command them to go.
You can ride a palatine if you want.
That's really kinky, man.
Rituals
Oh,
type.
God.
This is where we get into tea ceremonies. If you want to be a proper samurai, you need to know how to drink that tea, motherfucker.
Rituals?
Rituals type. So rituals tea ceremony, rituals imperial court would be two big ones.
Is it a special skill?
That is not a special skill.
Okay.
Running type. This can be either sprinting or marathon. depending on whether or not you want to be able to jog long distance or sprint super fast over a short distance. Science type. At this point, chemistry, geology, ocean biology, that's basically it. Herbalism, maybe. They're pretty limited sciences, but...
We've got physics. If I shoot the arrow up at this angle, it hits that dude. Or if I drop this, it falls.
Or if I
Physics
punch
one.
him, his face will blow up.
Yeah, John, you're right. Rarity would be a surprisingly excellent samurai if something of a noble, like a very, very proper noble one. Anyway, seduction, singing.
Can I put seduction down even though my guy is extremely ugly?
Yes, you can put it down. It's just that you might have a... Yeah, it's just literally like the negative attractiveness penalty is going to mean that you're going to have trouble actually seducing people.
Well, hey, if he
Which
has
means
smooth
in
talking,
order to actually seduce people, you would need a lot of the skill to make up for the penalty.
Yes. You basically, and again, there is precedent for that. I mean, you can kind of play sort of like a Man in the Iron Mask kind of dude who's like super charming and like you have a super high charisma and a super high.
Or you could go Phantom of the Opera, kidnap her, and then show her all of your high-class stuff and hope that helps.
Yeah.
All
Again,
right,
like
I'm
you have
And
a,
then murder her boyfriend.
I am changing intimidation to 3 and adding seduction to 4.
fair enough.
oh my god, that's gonna be hilarious.
Anyway, I mean, the Elephant Man had like super high charisma, had like pretty decent charisma despite having like a low.
He had enough
appearance.
charisma to get a David Lynch movie made after him. So
Yeah, fucking cool dude.
Yeah.
Really great movie as well. Anyway, love John Hurt. Anyway, see, where was I? Right.
You're at seduction.
Sleight of
Singing, actually.
Sleight of hand.
Sing.
Smooth talking, which would be sort of like the opposite of intimidation. What happens if you fumble seduction? Bad shit. Oh, hold on. All that means you to be a succubus. Yes. Sports type. I don't really know much about the sports of feudal Japan. That is one area where my knowledge of history somewhat fails me.
cock dropping.
Stealth. Storytelling. Pretty good one. Streetwise. Relatively fewer urban settings that you're going to be running around in, though if you really want to be like a street rat from, Kyoto or...
I was from the streets, yo.
Yeah,
The
where
streets in old...
Did you come from the slums of Shaolin? No, that would be China, so you probably wouldn't. But, anyway. Surveillance, survival. Alright, here we go. Surveillance. Watching people, setting up bugs and stuff. Obviously, you can't set up bugs, but you could use it for kind of like tailing people and stuff.
Yeah.
Tournaments were sports. Okay. I don't know. Again, I don't really know enough about that. Probably would recommend not picking up that skill. I know more about like old gambling games in feudal Japan. I don't know so much about the active sporting scene. I'm only one man, and my major was in American history, not Japanese history. I only took like a handful of classes on ancient East Asian history. So, forgive my spottiness in places.
Yeah.
Anyway, survival type. In this case, woodlands would probably be the only one you'd actually care about. Or mountains, to be fair. Swimming. Very, very good one. Considering how watery Japan is. Throwing type. Japan isn't really all that well known for, lots of spear throwing, but if you want to be a spear chucka, you can do that. Throwing axes aren't really a thing.
Shurikens.
Throwing knives and shurikens definitely are things that existed, I think. Yes, I think so.
Not sure if they're around yet, but
Yeah, I don't know. We can fudge it a little bit. We're going to be doing some kind of wacky shit anyway, so I mean, I'm willing to kind of bend history over my knee and give it a few hard smacks in the bottom.
wacky
Anyway,
stuff like letting someone play Kaso Bake.
sure. Tracking. Very, very, very useful in the woods if you are a survival person. Traps, good for setting them, good for deactivating them. Tends to be more rope traps and stuff like that these days. Not a lot of big metal bear traps, but eh. Unconventional medicine type. This could be acupuncture. That'd be one. Alchemy, I guess. Sorry, like a.
Is that medicine?
Apothecary? Yes, that would be unconventional medicine, which in this period would be conventional medicine. Veterinary medicine, which I don't really see why you'd have veterinary medicine. Not as many calls for that. Weightlifting, you really want to be pumping iron in the age of the shonen.
Sure.
Writing type, and this is the last one. Writing type. So in this case, the only real writing types you probably want would either be, oh my god, my arm, would probably be.
I love that kind of writing.
Yeah, would probably be mostly like poetry or official writing stuff, things like that. Oh my goodness. Oh.
Alrighty then, hold on. Let me.
Writing poetry 5.
Oh, let's see.
And don't forget Ow My Arm. Writing Ow My Arm. Question: how much points would contacts need to be for being a member of like a kind of major gang or yakuza?
What was it?
How many points in contacts would I need for being a member of a?
That really depends entirely on if you want to be a Yakuza member. That depends entirely on how high in the organization you want to be. If you're just like a lower level grunt, like 1 point would be fine. If you want to be like a territorial boss, you might want to have like 2 or 3. If you want to be like the actual like head of a district or something, you'd probably want more.
Yeah.
You are definitely not going to be like the boss of an entire, your entire like family or something. Now, if you'll excuse me for 1 second, you guys entertain the good people at home while I go and close a quick door and get a drink of water, because we're gonna be doing equipment real quick and then getting right into the first session.
Wait,
Okay,
which will
I
probably
will
be
start
a very
singing
short
to entertain them.
wait, so I still have some questions about building character points, actually.
Okay. Well, I will stick around a bit longer then.
You'll figure that out.
No. Go ahead. Ask him now.
Okay, so I have like 10 freaking points from all the drawbacks I gave my character. If I wanted to apply some points to my primary attributes, how much would that be?
To your primary is 5 points per a primary attribute increase.
5 points.
5 points.
Okay.
Then
That makes my life significantly easier then.
Yeah, right.
15 minus.
BRB.
Oh, wait, what about powers?
What? Yeah, okay, BRB.
Okay.
Okay, I've got 15 left.
I'm
I can
tempted
play
to
some
have my
music.
character have no name, but
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Okay. Adding in acute sense.
Jesus,
Oh,
my guy
goodness.
has,
Back. And Sean's BRB. Okay.
Okay,
What was that cheering?
My guy has. Wait. My guy has 3 skills that have 5.
2.
Really?
Yep.
You are a Minimaxer and no doubt.
It's because my guy is buffed, so he has brawling and blunt weapons at 5, and then he has poetry writing at 5.
Okay, who is playing fucking
I
like...
resent that.
Who is playing
Yeah, I
Duke
do
Nukem
too.
quotes? Zombie!
I didn't mean to.
You nerd!
First
Damn
one,
it, zombie cam.
I was looking for the music because I was going to entertain everyone.
Zombie cam, you boob.
Oh, you big nerd. Alright, gentlemen.
1, 2. Hold on, I've got a few more things.
Done.
I've got like 7 more skill points to put in.
That's
I need
fine.
to figure out where I want to put this last point.
I think I have one last skill point left.
That's fine.
How
We're
much
almost at
was
the end.
attractiveness and charisma?
Was it?
How much was attractiveness and charisma?
1 point per.
And what, up to a maximum of...
5. 5 is like either
That's it.
supermodel or monster looking, and charisma wise it's like a, legendary speech giver versus a cranky old man with a horrible speech impediment.
Yeah, like
Nothing's wrong with being a nerd. Nerds are awesome. That's why I call people nerds.
attractiveness 5.
Who's playing the
positive
Amelie? That would be Herr
incredibly,
Blitzig, I believe.
like-
Yeah, I'm playing the tribesman. I was about to ask what a good name for that would be.
I'm curious, like, I want to either have my character have no name, or just be named 7.
Not sure numbers were... Alright, well, yeah, probably no name or have some sort of title would be appropriate.
I'll go ahead and give him the title then.
Just a minor thought. A bastard in this era would not have a last name, if anyone's going to be a bastard.
Alright.
So
would the tribesmen's names actually sort of like follow traditional Japanese naming, or would it be something entirely
If you're trying
different?
to keep it a secret, then yes, you probably would be like, oh, I'm,
Shigeru Miyamoto.
Oh,
yeah. Yogo Kusanagi. Oh.
So, freaking naming him 7 would not work.
That would probably not make sense, yeah.
Kenpachi Ramasama.
Kimpachi
Why-
Ramasama, why didn't
Why
you do
didn't
your
you
homework?
do your math homework?
oh no. You want to name him
Because
7. His
my
name is
toast
Nana.
My toast
sorry,
wouldn't cook,
teacher.
and I had to become
I'm
a
a Sailor Scout. Ronin
Ronin
Warriors. Oh my god, Two Snacks, you were delightful.
Kenpachi Ramasama. How can you be so flippant and yet so
It's
desirable?
terrible. I actually recently named my my Voltorb in the new Pokemon game Pat. It's Angry Pat the Voltorb. Oh goodness. Anyway. Here are the weapons. I've totally misplaced them. Whoopsies. Yeah. Oh yeah, they have katana stat as their own weapon. Of course they do. Okay, so when you guys are done with your basic stuff,
Question about
Answer.
random backstory stuff. Tribesmen would not have been helped much if something were to happen to them, right?
what was that?
Like, tribesmen would not be helped by, like, the larger feudal
Yes,
associations.
you would probably not be considered, really particularly important enough to get, helped out if someone beat the shit out of you and robbed you. And they're
that's
like,
what
oh,
I
you're a
thought.
tribesman. They'd be like, oh,
That's
well,
what I
fuck
thought.
off. Yeah.
Alrighty, hold on.
What did I just say? Duhad, Prince School Flash Trask? I don't know. It's been long enough of a delay that I don't know what I was saying at the time when you asked that.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so gentlemen, have you finished allotting your skill points yet?
Yeah, I got my skill.
Yep.
Okie dokie then. So then,
Who's ready to watch some popcorn and eat Princess Twilight?
God damn it. Anyway.
anyway, so we're gonna do your weapons real quick, and then we're going to quickly jump back, do your health points, and then we're going to begin.
Okay.
Do you give you a hot dragon this because you're in feudal Japan? No, shush you. Okay, so how many of you are? All right, what? Let's just go through you one at a time. Time Knight.
Yes.
What type of character are you?
I am, think kind of like the Japanese equivalent of Robin Hood, except he's more of an asshole.
Okay, sort of like a.
So you steal from the poor and give to the wealthy.
No, I still steal.
No,
from...
he steals from the poor and gives to himself.
No.
Or steals from the rich and gives to himself.
No. He's like Robin Hood, but more of an asshole. So you do steal from the rich, give to the poor, but you're just kind of more of a murderous dick
But you're
about
a
it.
dick
Then he
about
kills the
Yeah,
poor
you
to
know,
take the money back.
I wouldn't have to steal from the rich to give this to you if you weren't so damn poor.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm going for.
And the guy's just like, man, I wish we had lesbians so we could solve this.
Oh God! Well, I'm trying to remember what it was like. There's like some sort of thing where it was just like the most hideously awful. Oh, right! It was Harry Partridge, that joke about the rich and the poor, like the Robin Hood thing. You know, you're accused of stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, then raping the poor.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Oh,
As for Dennis Moore from Monty Python,
Rainbow
where he
Dash.
robbed from the rich
Got
and gave
it.
to the poor so much that the rich became poor and the poor became rich. And he's having to do like this complicated math for redistribution of wealth.
Oh God! Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So, all right, and so you're probably going to have, or what weapons are you trained in?
I've got hand weapons. I'd probably like more of like the.
What did you buy skill wise for your weapons?
For
what are you trained
weapons,
in?
I got hand weapons.
Okay, hand weapons type. What type of hand weapon?
More like maybe a
Swords,
sword-ish.
knives, like long knives. Maybe?
Yeah, kind of like that. Like,
Bows.
Okay,
Not
so
like-
why don't you take a huge knife, which would be the equivalent of like a short sword, like a really long murderous knife. That is so write this down. Long knife, damage D6 times strength.
Okay, D6.
I don't think he's trained in bows.
I don't think I have bows.
No, that's fine. A long knife will do just fine. Okay, and that'll probably actually do you for your like
Times
violent equipment. Nero, what is your character trained in?
My character is trained in brawling and hand weapons, blunt. As in,
Okay.
like boards and clubs and.
Considering your size, let's say that you have a large club. In this case, it's basically like a big, hefty tree branch that you've like, whittled down a little bit, and it's just basically this big knobbly club. It does D6 times strength damage. Though unlike the huge knife, it does not get double. The damage is not doubled because it's not a slashing weapon. It doesn't.
Wait, D6 times strength.
Yes.
So that's 6 times 6.
No. Roll a D6 times strength.
Yeah, that could
Okay.
be 1 times
Yeah.
6.
Like if you roll well, it's 6 times 6. If you roll badly, it's just 6. Okay, Zombie Cam.
Yarrow.
What is your character?
She is a spy, essentially.
Okay.
So she has hand weapons 2 in knives. And
Okay.
that's about it.
I'm going to say
But
you
she
probably.
also has resources 5 in drawbacks.
Okay, so she's very poor. We're going to say that she probably has a large knife, which is, like about the size of about the size of what you'd imagine a knife used these days for murderous purposes would be, like a hunting knife or something. A small knife is more like a pocket knife. So you'll have a large knife that is D4 times strength.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't have any armor or anything because, again, you're desperately poor, and most of the people who were wearing armor were, trained soldiers anyway. Yeah, basically, and we'll deal with the R equipment essentially just based on, how much money your character is supposed to have and, what would make sense for them to have on them at any given time. Hare, what is your character, and what type of weapon is he trained in?
My character is essentially a tribesman who became a traveling monk, and I trained him in hand weapons club with the intent of giving him a kind of staff, and I trained him in martial arts as well, and I also gave him level 4 in craft woodwork, so he could feasibly make his own stuff, maybe?
Okay. So in that case, why don't you take a, let's say that you have a, let's say you have a, actually, hold on, I should switch this around real quick. You are going to have a club that's a D6 times strength, And Nero, you're getting upgraded to having the equivalent of a bat.
A tree.
Yeah, well, basically, you're going to have the equivalent of a bat, which is going to be a D8 times strength. And you can wield it two-handed, which means you'll be able to add... if you decide to wield it two-handed, you get to add +1 to your strength. So it'll be D8 times 7 as opposed to D8 times 6, if you decide to two-hand it.
Oh, boy.
And finally, Rydell, your character, and your weapon specialties.
Hold on one sec, I just changed something at the last minute because I decided to be more appropriate for my character. So, you know what's that? Okay. My weapons specialty, I am good at stabbing people with knives, stabbing people with clubs, stabbing people with fists.
Okie dokie. Well, 2 of those, they're like actual weapons for. The other ones you're going to be using your bare fisties for.
Oh, I can't buy better fists?
Unfortunately, this is not really a time well known for its huge metal... Well, I suppose you could go all man with the iron fists on their asses, but I don't think that's probably very likely.
I do know there's that, there's like a flip knife thing designed to be concealed in the fist. It's basically like punching with a little spike in your hand, but...
If you really want to use that, we can use that. That'd be a knife. That'd be considered a knife.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way you fight with it is exactly like a fist.
I know, but I mean, like, stat-wise, it'd be considered like a small knife. Yeah. Okay, so for your knife, D4 times strength. For your club, D6 times strength. And for your fists, as with all of your fists, D4 times strength.
I have a tiny...
What?
Knife.
You have a small knife.
You said fist was 4? D4?
Fist for all of you is D4 times strength. The difference between a knife, like the reason that the knife and the fist have the same stats is that a knife counts as a stabbing weapon and therefore does double any damage that goes through armor is doubled, because stabbing into someone is a lot more painful and does a lot more proper damage than punching someone. But the kinetic force of a fist and a very small, like a small knife, is relatively similar. The thing that really gets you with the knife is how it is going into your body.
Yeah, because my character is basically sort of a, like a equivalent of a mob enforcer.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
That's what I think about is, like, would you have a, like, you know, with, like, the damage is a good way of thinking about it, is sort of like, you know, if you were punching through a brick wall, would punching it with a knife or punching it with your fist make any sort of difference? With a small knife, not really. With a larger knife, you might be able to start using it as sort of like a pick. Anyway, let's get down to your hit points, and that is literally the last thing you guys are going to do, because we're not dealing with magic, so you don't get essence. We're not dealing with endurance.
Wait,
because
what about speed?
Right, speed is easy. It's right next to hit points. We'll do that at the same time.
Okay.
Give me a second here.
Take
Wow,
a
the
second.
highest I can get is 56 damage if I wield it two-handed and roll an 8.
Yep, that is possible, and that is more than enough to kill most people.
Alrighty, H.
Now, your life points.
Okay.
And, again, if you need to write this down or apply a calculator, do it now. This is a relatively simple equation, but it's going to be a little long.
All right.
Constitution plus strength.
Constitution, strength.
And remember, each time I stop, it's because it's in brackets. So add up that calculation before we move on to the next part of the calculation.
Okay.
So Constitution plus strength. That number times 4. That number plus 10.
What?
Whoa, daddy.
Con plus strength. And just to make this very simple. Con plus strength for an average human being, that's 2 plus 2 is 4. Times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. Plus 10 is 26. So the average human life point total is 26.
Okay, and what about hard to kill?
Each level of hard to kill adds an additional 3 hit points.
Okay. Oh my god, wow.
So once again, for anyone having trouble with this, your Constitution and your strength together.
Whoa!
Take that number that you just got, times it by 4.
Whoa!
What?
What's
61.
Yeah, you're super beefy.
Damn.
I'm superhuman.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Sure.
hold on.
You are very, very similar to Marv from Sin City.
And
And I have 42 hit points.
Congratulations! You
Hold
are
on, I'm trying to
also a
figure out.
beefcake.
Okay,
Considering I got 49, apparently we all are gonna be.
Yeah, you're all going to be pretty fucking beefy. Let me just, for an example here, real quick, just so you guys don't start getting your, too full of yourselves and end up getting murdered. Let's say that a rando samurai, comes over and gives you a big old smack with his big old
Smack
sword.
on the butt.
What was the damage? You know what? Fuck it. Let's just say he's using D6.
I guess D8.
D8. Okay.
Because it's bigger than a big knife.
Yeah. Okay, where is
And
it?
then doubled after armor.
Yeah, hold on. So I just roll just a random hit. So let's say, okay, that's pretty bad. He gets an 8. Tennessee is, and let's say he's a little bit stronger than the average man. So 4, 15,
Okay, so then how do we
28,
calculate
32
speed?
damage before doubling it, so he ends up doing 64 damage to you with one really hard slash with his katana.
Ooh.
That would even kill me.
Yes. So keep in mind, swords will still murder you if you are unlucky and get stabbed with them.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
I have 22 HP.
That's, yeah, you
You
definitely don't
are
want to get
fucked.
stabbed. You do not want to get stabbed.
Jane Doe had more HP than anyone, and now this character is.
It's the opposite. That's totally fair. In
Alrighty,
fact,
well,
actually, it might benefit
I-
you,
I
but
didn't
no more on
get
that for right now.
I didn't really get down to my base stats. Hold on, I've got to redo this.
Okay.
Okay, it's okay. Take your time. Take your time. Look around. We're actually almost at the end, so we probably won't have a full session at the end of this because we're going to move right into the other thing. Because, again, I have to wrap everything up before the time we originally intended to do Living the Dream because we have that to do as well.
Okay.
So don't worry, this will probably mostly just be an establishing characters and doing characters episode.
Okay.
I'll probably even call it episode 0 since it's, kind of like the just making the
It's
characters
like
episode.
Resident Evil 0, just worse.
Yeah.
Or better.
Depends on your opinion.
Anyway, so once Time Knight's done calculating his life points and shit.
Yeah, as for the rest of you,
Oh, hold on,
speed.
hold on.
We'll do speed real quick because it's pretty straightforward.
Alright.
Speed, here we go. Constitution
You're too slow.
plus dexterity. And then that number is doubled. And that's your speed.
What?
Constitution plus Dex.
Dex. And then that number doubled is your speed.
Alrighty.
Wow, that is sad.
boy.
Then. Hold on.
That is downright sad.
Okay, hold on. I have to go back to my base stats. What was the how much were we supposed to put into base stuff?
I
A
believe.
primary attribute to get 20 points towards that, you could spend 5 points on qualities on an extra one.
Okay then.
Yeah,
Hold on.
and that'll get you everything you need, brother.
In there. I'll change that.
So, yeah, that is, for those of you trying to figure out and play it along at home, if you are looking to get into Unisystem, that is how you establish a character. And for anyone worrying about, oh, isn't this giving away things that are in the book that you have to buy? Not at all. Everything that I've gone over right now is all available in the free legal download of Unisystem's Witchcraft, which is available on their website as a downloadable PDF. It's an older edition. It's a little out of date, and a lot of stuff in there is not the same as the stuff that's in my much newer Terra Primate core book. But all the things that we went over are all stuff that is in the character creation section in that book. So it's all totally above ground.
6.
And I highly recommend if you're looking for a good role-playing game that is totally free. Witchcraft may be old, but it's still really, really, really solid.
Constitution plus Dexterity. That's 9. Okay. 18.
Also free.
Oh man, I'm so glad I got those 4 levels of hard to kill.
They're pretty good. They're
I have
pretty
5
good.
levels of hard to kill.
Yeah, and keep in
All
mind,
right.
we're doing like Rashomon levels of like combat competence for most people. So like, you're not going to be, like getting stabbed is not going to be like the super duper like this is going to definitely happen immediately sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm actually gonna run out really fast. I'll be right back.
Okie dokie, Loki Smoky.
Okay.
So we're actually probably going to wrap up there then, since Hair is going to be popping out. We're missing, we are missing the G Monies. But before we do, why don't we take a second to just go down the list of characters, introduce everyone, and then we'll start the game proper next week at the same time at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which will be the first proper full 2-hour session. So starting from the top, Time Knight. Give us a rundown on your character.
Skip me for a sec.
Starting from Nero Brony. Tell us about your character.
Alright, my character. His name is unknown. His age is unknown. But he is known to be a male with very unkempt black hair and very hard to see brown eyes due to the fact that he has a mask. He has the strength of sound speed. So God.
Fucking
Wait,
God
what about endurance points?
That'd be we're not dealing with endurance. It basically is just how long you can perform like heavy duty actions and whatnot.
Okie dokie.
It can be very useful in some games. I tend to not use it unless it's like a survival game.
Okay. So he is also extremely durable as far as health goes, but he's also extremely clunky and slow. And he tends to beat people to death with bats. He is an expert with just punching things and asking questions later. He does not play fair. He is just overall, somewhat or really good in combat. He has a basic understanding of first aid and things such as that. He can intimidate the crap out of people, but he also has a way with the ladies. And he is also an experienced poet. And then he has fast reaction time. He is really hard to kill. He has nerds of steel. And he has a pretty decent amount of money, and he is aware of situations. But he is also ugly as shit, cruel. He has anger issues. He has no sense of humor. And he has no sense of when he's doing something completely stupid.
Okay. So, yeah.
I'm back, by the way.
Oh, good. So, Zombie Cam, you're up next. Tell us about your character.
I don't have a name yet.
That's fine. You can come up with a name later on, but Zombie Cam's character, whatever she ends up being called, is...
Steve.
Essentially, she is a secret agent with fairly balanced skills in things like acting, cheating, disguise, dodge, escapism, first aid, gambling, haggling, hand weapons, pickpocket, questioning, seduction, stealth, streetwise.
All right, yeah. So she's definitely like a very talented, well-rounded spy.
Yeah, I'm not going to be getting her into combat because I could die 4 times over if a samurai deals as much damage as what you said before.
But that could kill even me in one shot.
And to be fair, that's unlikely to happen most of the time. But go on.
Yeah. Nerves of Steel, 1. Multiple identities, photographic memory, situational awareness. Status is a 3.
All right.
Because I suppose she has good status with people.
That makes sense, yeah.
5 attractiveness, 3 charisma, resources 5 because she's had all of her stuff taken away and been thrown out in her ass, and secret 3 because she's a secret agent.
All right, so like she's like, it sounds like this person probably was like working for another daimyo, and like the daimyo was like, hey, by the way, don't need you anymore. I'm keeping all of your shit. Good luck out there.
Yep.
Wonderful. I assume she has beautician as well, which for like the whole disguising and whatnot.
Oh, do I need that along with disguise?
No. Disguise is fine on its own. I was just thinking that she probably would have it since she seems to be kind of a courtesan sort of person. Like she'd probably do like makeups and stuff.
Oh, put some in. I suppose.
I mean, like I'll let you essentially use disguise to aid with your with beautician. Just like the big thing with beautician is you can use it to improve improve someone's attractiveness, and it just sounds like your character probably doesn't need it as much, so they can probably just use disguise to do basic makeup, and then just be like, whatever. Do I really need much more than this? No, it's fine.
There we go. 2 points in beautician.
All right, well there you go. Yeah, I like your character. You're very well rounded. Always like that. Meanwhile, Herr Wutzig.
Okay, so I'm basically just going to be calling my character Monk.
All right.
He does.
I thought you were about to
have...
say mom.
God damn it! This is an alien. Anyway, so he is essentially a traveling monk who came from one of the tribes, and he has this burn on his face, so that's for 2 levels of ugliness. And essentially, I imagine him as this sort of, given that he's a monk, he's sort of very aware of his surroundings, to the point that he's actually paranoid, because of various past involving the thing that gave him the burn. So, he's essentially a traveling monk, and yeah.
Fair enough. Rydell.
My character is less well-rounded. My character is Ogawa Isamu. He is a Higashira in a Yakuza, which I haven't come up with the name of yet.
Nintendo.
Is a basically an enforcer for them. But somewhat high-ranking, but not in charge. Like, sort of second lieutenant.
Fair enough. All right, makes sense. And finally,
Very much a person who enjoys his work.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, so all of you are going to have reasons to be essentially, just so you're all aware, you're all going to have some sort of reason, namely like, your reputations and abilities and whatnot, to be called before the daimyo, for or
the daimyo.
Not necessarily like because like you're all necessarily like super like trusted or anything, but like you and a whole bunch of other people are going to be, contacted about something. But we'll get to that next week. Meanwhile, Time Knight, what is give us the skinny now that you hopefully have completed your work.
Let's see. My character's name is Yoshimatsu Natsuo. He is, like I said, kind of like a asshole version of Robin Hood in Japan.
I like it.
Basically, he's kind of has the same sort of MO. He like steals stuff from richer people. He utilizes stuff like disguise, acting, cheating, like
cool.
cheat, steal, pickpocket. He also has some stuff in smooth talking. Also, I've decided to give him play instrument, kind of add a little to some of his alternate identities. Kind of thought that would be pretty neat to put in there.
Sweet.
So yeah, I think that's kind of mostly it right now.
All right, cool beans, yo. And that's, again, since we're missing G-Money and only have 9 minutes left, we're probably not really going to get into anything today, though I will say this is the set. I will give you the quick setup.
Okay.
You are living in a small province ruled over by a samurai daimyo who basically resides in a not overly impressive fortress along the bank of a river. Now, this samurai has been ruling over this little piece of land for a while now, and is, this area has been a relatively stable, portion of a very unstable country. All around you, great nations rise and, great clans rise and fall, lose and gain territory as, they vie for power, but this little corner of the world has remained largely untouched, except for one thing. There is a bit of a bandit problem. And recently, attempts to root out the bandits have been failing, partly due to the fact that a number of them are organizing under the banner of a former samurai turned Ronin bandit.
Ronin warriors.
Ronin warriors. Yeah, they're not exactly, huge enough to be considered like super duper like threat to the nation, scary. But they are a definite thorn in the side of the daimyo, and he's been getting increasingly pissed off about it. Recently, though, just the other day, a comet flew over the night sky and seemed to almost seemed to have crashed to Earth, though no impact was ever found. So it's assumed that it was probably more likely that it was just sort of like either fell in the ocean or it flew overhead. But whatever the reason, it looked like a comet flew and hit Japan, which is being seen as a massive, massive omen. And so the daimyo, who's already been pissed off about the bandits, is now growing convinced that it is a sign that either he needs to wipe out the bandits or that great tragedy is going to befall upon his land. And so he is now seeking out anyone who he can essentially pay off to help build up a small army to go and wipe them all out once and for all.
And of course, it gets bigger from there.
Yeah, probably Zendar. Yes,
Bigger
it'll probably end up getting bigger from there. But yeah, that is the setup. You guys are in various places in this province, given your individual, characters and stuff. I'm guessing Rydel's character probably lives in the, somewhere in the capital itself. Zombie Cam's character is probably working as like a courtesan in, in this backwater castle. As the rest of you are probably like in local villages and whatnot. But all of you are, enticed by the promise of money, with the possible exception of Zombie Cam, who is enticed by the possibility of getting the hell out of this castle and possibly getting enough money to get out of the province before someone figures out that she was a spy before she got cut off from her, escape.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that is the setup, and next week we will get down to the actual events.
Okay.
Good fucking time.
All
I don't
right.
think I'd be in the group. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I make a fanfiction with Cole Gay and Barry Punch are shipped together. Good man, Prince Cool Flash. Anyway, that is all the time we have for today for Let's Roleplay, though. Here's a fun thing with the new...
Let's roleplay.
Let's Roleplay. So people on YouTube, this is where the video ends. We'll see you guys next week. But people here on the live stream, the stream is no longer going to end because I now have a better streaming program that won't cut everything off. So people of YouTube, see you next week.